Well, what up, everybody out there, podcast man? Thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of Ken Ross Present, the Yeah I Said It podcast. We're expressing what our full capabilities into the Mike Wonderson Correctional Facilities. Brainchild of my child. I am the dad half of this operation, Ross Cooper. You are not imagining things. I am always rocking with the best, my co-host, who I actually happen to be sitting next to. Please introduce yourself to the folks.
Yeah, well, what's up, everybody? Everybody's having a good day, month, year, hour, all that good stuff. When you watching all the platforms, please share with your friends, family, enemies, your pets, aliens outside, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Because if you don't, I'm running out of stuff to say. If you don't, it's gonna be a flash flood wherever you at.
Damn, B, we gotta be wishing like disasters on people. Yeah, between now and next week, you gotta think of something that's less threatening. Maybe we don't need flash floods. We just got past an earthquake, kind of sort of like, come on, that's a little too close to home.
Like and subscribe and do all that stuff, and nothing will happen. That's all you got. It's free. It takes 5, 10 seconds. You do that.
If that, if that. But yeah, we are together. This is the first time exclusive. This is really, really cool. We're kind of going to freestyle and wing it, whatever comes to mind. That's what we're going to kick it about. We want to have a I've been wanting to do this for a minute. Some of y'all might be mad when it's over. Conversation about the culture. Now, what I find interesting is usually when you say the culture, it is kind of understood. We are talking about Black culture. Black culture is synonymous by and large with pop culture. If you don't think so, well, I challenge anyone who doesn't think that Black culture is synonymous with pop culture to check your playlist and how many of those songs are by Black artists. Is there a chance there aren't? Sure. But I assure you, you are an outlier. And there are some things about the culture that warrant a discussion. I'm just, it's interesting. But we did see something also, I think, that warrants a small discussion. Author of the comic strip Gilbert, Steve Adams, I do believe his name is, saw a clip from him on Talib Kweli's page, on Amanda Seals' page. And yeah, his tirade, if you will, called Black people a hate group because some poll said half of all Black people that participate in the poll are uncomfortable or what have you with white people. He made remarks like, Black people are a hate group. He's tired of helping. There's no point in helping Black people. It only results in you being called a racist. And white people should get the hell away from them being Black people. And I'm like, then he had some follow up. This is said on his podcast. I'm like, I don't even know if this is social media. I'm just like, with the advent of the internet and the popularity of the internet, people hang themselves. And this is another one of those cases where all you have to do is shut up. There are levels to this, though, because as I was telling this guy, a lot of people were upset. A lot of people get upset because LGBTQ plus community, say something about them, you get canceled. The Jewish community, say something about them, you get canceled. You can say whatever you want about Black. Well, apparently you can. His ass has effectively been canceled. His comic strip pulled everywhere. He is done. And, for better or worse, he won't walk it back. He's standing on it. So, okay. But would you not agree? This is proof. No, you don't get to say what you want about the Black community either. Your ass will be canceled.
No, this is one time out of many times people will say something crazy to Black people, nothing's really happened, or they get canceled for a little bit and then come right back. Usually the other groups, you say something, it either takes a very, very long time or you never come back, depending on who you are. And I don't think he's going to come back. He might come back sooner than we think. So even if he doesn't, either way, he said some over the top racist shit that's you can't not do nothing about it. But like I said, I don't think it's a huge deal because I didn't hear about this interview or whatever he did, this podcast or whatever about saying that until you showed it to me. Versus where if, the NBA player said the Jewish derogatory term, everyone knew about it and he was banned from the league. And ironically, he is coming back now. I forgot what team. Of course, we heard about Kanye. And there's probably many other long list of people who said some quote unquote anti-Semitic stuff. Kyrie, which didn't really say any anti-Semitic stuff, but all he did was post a link. Like I said, I'm pretty sure if this guy posted a link about, white supremacy or blah, 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 there still wouldn't be a problem. Because there still is white supremacist groups that are very prominent. I mean, we had a president who was probably very prominent to the white supremacy, the Proud Boys and, the new KKK Trump supporters. So you turn in your white hoods for red hats. Other than that, yeah.
I think the thing is, and honestly, I get you, but just to offer a challenge, a little bit of pushback. Kanye and all these other cats we mentioned, they're higher profile people. So when they say something, they got a bigger platform, more ears are going to hear it. To your point, this dude isn't that big. He made a very well-known comic strip, Dilbert, that I thought was funny up until just now. But he's not super on that Kanye level, and he's a low-level dude. Said something stupid and got canceled a day later.
I wouldn't consider that a low level, but especially he has a known comic strip. I haven't read a comic strip since I was.
That's what I'm about to say. Like, but, you got to be my age and up to really be still probably reading comic strips.
I haven't read a comic strip since I was a child. But Child the Hobbs and whatever that.
Oh, Calvin Hobbs.
Calvin Hobbs. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I don't know because the NBA player that said it wasn't really high profile outside of Kyrie. That said the Jewish term, the derogatory term, and he was done. Now this, like I say, he said some extreme stuff. He didn't say something that can be quote unquote vanilla racist, if that's a real thing.
No.
But he said he went full bar away, basically bring back segregation, screw them Negroes, we don't need them, they're ungrateful. I've done everything I could, which he's never said what he's done with it. What have you done?
Hey,
yeah. Went to the hood and donated to the latest person standing outside. Here, take $10. I did my part. I'm like, what are we talking about? And he also based his thing off a poll that's saying that 50% of black people don't mess with white people or something like that.
And I'm like,
well, one, I don't know who's in the poll. Two, I mean, there would be a reason for that. We, like I said, we're not. Like I said, one, we're not a hate group because we didn't invent that. Y'all did, and like we just named like 4 different white hate groups.
KKK, Proud Boys, the police department. Oh, I'm sorry. But you start looking at like the comments, looking at who's the home of the KKK is the original terrorist organization.
Domestic terrorists, yeah.
Right, and it's like. The best advice I have is get the hell away from them. Fam, do we really want to do this? Do we really want to do this? Because we were far the hell away from y'all to begin with.
And y'all came there.
Excuse me.
And brought us over here.
Right. We were far the hell away from y'all to start with. Get the hell away from us. Almost every indigenous culture historically has the same story. We were good until what? The colonizer showed up. But this is, and see, I guess goes back to something we had talked about before. This is maybe the danger because on paper it sounds good. You take down the racist monuments. You get rid of the Robert E. Lee schools. You get rid of a George Bush. Oh, sorry. You get rid of the names and statues and edifices that stand in reverence to the South, to the Confederacy. Get rid of all of that. The problem is you get rid of all of that. You're counting on the fact that people are going to remember 2 generations from now why this country fought the Civil War. And see, old boys to me is just ignoring history. Oh, well, if you live in, Don Lemon said when he lived in a black neighborhood, he had more problems than living in a white one. One, Don Lemon don't speak for all brothers, all the black community per se. Two, Don Lemon has got issues right now being his own gay black man, but still somehow managed to be patriarchal and misogynistic. Three, um, what was the income bracket of said black neighborhood?
And the white one.
Because
Because if even if you went to like I said, if there was a poor black neighborhood and then you went to a poor white neighborhood, I guarantee you see the same shit. I said, speaking for me, you go to West Baltimore, East Baltimore, you go to South Baltimore, it's the same shit. And white people, poor white folks in South Baltimore, and then of course you can say the brown and the minorities are West and East. It's the same stuff. Ain't nothing there. I've been to both. It's the same stuff. Ain't nothing different. But you know what the thing is common is the class. The like you said, the income. And if you're in a low income neighborhood versus moving to a higher income, it doesn't matter if it's a white or black, purple, whoever. It's going to be different. The higher incomes is quote unquote safer.
Mhm.
Lower incomes, you get what you get.
And that's regardless of what? Regardless of race.
And that's all class.
So it's just listening, and he just loves to play the whole white folks like this are interesting. And I gotta say here, because we live in a clickbait and clippy society, let me be very clear and reiterate so the folks don't have to go digging too hard. I have no issue with white people. We all have an issue with white supremacy. I say we all because even white people who don't think they have an issue with it have an issue with it. Here's why. If you have an issue with things being too racial, why does everything have to be about race? That's because of the existence of white supremacy, which made all of this. And I'm like, this conversation in 2023, it's just, it amazes me. It's still folks walking around thinking in these terms. Like, you're seriously still, I'm done helping. Well, what did you do? And you act as if there's no such thing as institutional or systemic racism. It is this notion of bootstrap theory, which a lot of white people love, and even some black people love to echo. You know, I grew up impoverished. I promised I'd never be one of those. Well, I made it out. Why can't you? And it's a lot of white people. You just gotta work hard, and you act as if there were no built-in things. So you want to play with a pole, okay? More fun stuff. Certain white folks love the whole. Well, you're 13% of the population, but you're 50% of the violent crime. Really?
Because we make up a majority of the poverty.
Right.
People. And
So
yeah,
when you do things like redline and prevent people from home ownership, when you do things like dump drugs and guns into poor black and brown neighborhoods, again, we want to start talking facts. Let's talk about all of them. Don't leave it out, homeboy. You want to talk facts? You want to talk, oh, it's big, such cool. Let's talk about all of them. Let's talk about the systems that are in place. Let's talk about the 13th Amendment loophole. Let's start having a real conversation. You want to talk? Let's talk. Because otherwise, you bringing up these bullshit talking points that a whole bunch of basically systemic and racism deniers want to bring up. If I take a slice of the pie, it's a whole pie, I take a slice and say, yo, that's got a rotten piece of fruit in it. Cool. That one slice might have a rotten piece of fruit. Are we going to ignore how it got there and ignore the rest of the pie? Because that's what a lot of y'all sound like. That's what a lot of white people who want to try to make this hollow argument sound like. If you're going to look at the picture, look at the whole picture. All right. Now, we are going to talk about the culture. We are. But we're not going to ignore some of this shit we've been dropped in. Some of the shit is legitimately the reaction to what has been done. I asked a question. I ask you now, and I'm just play with me because you'll get the metaphor. But I asked this question on Facebook, and it was interesting answers I got. I said, let's imagine that a rat has been in a maze all of its life, right? It's been a maze. Rat has been in a maze for a good chunk of its life. You finally let the rat out the maze, right? The rat can't quite adapt and function to not being in the maze. And not only was the rat in the maze, but the last 4 or 5 generations of the same rat has been in the maze. There's the first generation of the rat that's not in the maze, and it is having a horrible time adjusting to, I'm not in the maze anymore, I'm not in the cage. Whose fault is that? Is it the rat's fault for not being able to adjust, or is it the people or entity's fault that put it in the maze to begin with?
Uh, it's the entity's fault, but the only difference between a rat and us is that to a certain extent, humans, why we survive is adaptability. So we're usually the great species to adapt. But the problem is, even though we've adapted, so has racism, and so has all the other things to keep people down. So even that's why I said things haven't really changed, and is that they've made new laws and do new things, little slick stuff that is still highly racist and still trying to do its best to make sure you don't succeed if you look like us or black or brown or minority or whatever. So yeah, I think black people's adapted pretty well. I mean, there's a lot of black excellence. There's a lot of black creators that have done things to change society and the world.
Mhm.
They don't get pushed. We push the nonsense, which is partly our fault, but mostly the people who control things fault.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, we've adapted. We've tried. We've asked for things that, since we were in the maze, let's just call it slavery. We were in slavery, did all that free, built everything that you sit and sleep in, and all the generational wealth that a lot of people ate off of, and we got nothing in return. So, and then when we had Black Wall Street many years ago, and we were doing stuff for ourselves and our communities, you see what happened then.
Right.
So every time it seems we do stuff for ourselves or whatever, there's always a pushback and a way to counter it.
Right.
You can go back to the civil rights era. It looked like for us, everything was going on the up and up. But you literally slaughtered all of our leaders and called them terrorists and threat to national security,
Mhm.
the Black Messiahs.
Mhm.
So every time we tried the strap boots technique, you do something to mess with it to make sure we don't strap ourselves up. So that's why I say I don't agree with that, because there's many points in history we literally strap booted for ourselves and did everything we could. Black Wall Street, the Civil Rights era, and all these amazing leaders we had, and you literally killed and executed all. And then after you did that, with the wreckage, while we're all scrambling and trying to mourn everything we lost, you, like you said, you dumped the drugs and guns into us. So now, since we can't get most of the stuff that our the majority of our white counterparts or whatever fair skinned people can get the benefits of that. So now we're stuck with the drugs, the guns, and that's generations. And then you have Reagan come in with Reaganomics and then the hard on crime bill, which is really for us. And then, like you said, the 13th loophole or exception, whatever. So it's like, so now we have modern day slavery still.
Still.
And who makes up majority of that? Us. Why is that? Low income and all the drugs and stuff that happened in the 80s, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So everything adds up. So that's why I said I don't agree with that we never tried. We did try to strap ourselves up, but every time we do, you guys interfere. You're scared because you think that we're gonna be you. And we're not. That's the one thing you cannot say about Black people. We are not hate groups. We are not. Black people are very forgiving. Trust me.
Way more.
We are, because if we were not forgiving, y'all would not be here.
It'd be a lot of that. It'll be a lot more Nat Turners than the MLKs. I can tell you that.
Like
It'd be a lot more people on that Nat Turner shit.
It would be Civil War Part 2, or it would already happen. It hasn't. We're still asking for stuff that we earned and deserve. And so if we're still to the point of asking, because like I said, if you're really done with someone, you hate someone, you're not going to ask anymore. You're just going to do it. We're not at that point yet.
Right.
I don't know if we ever will. Like I said, we're a forgiving race. We really are. And we're trying to work with people, but it seems like every time we do, something happens.
And while you were speaking, you just touched on something I thought about. I was trying to articulate it. I might not do a good job, but here's what it is. The problem is there is a good section of white folk who really believe the playing field is now level.
Never.
You think because of affirmative action, you think because you see a Jay-Z, a LeBron, a Jordan, you think the playing field is now level. You see them and say, anyone can do it.
Anomalies.
Right. No, anyone can. Because when you look at, we've made such progress. Look at CEOs. Great. There are companies. If I'm not mistaken, the CEO of Uber is an Indian woman. Awesome. Excuse me. But the issue comes in, look at the boards of these Fortune 500 companies. Sure, We've gotten more diverse as far as CEOs go. But the bottom line is you start moving up the chain from entry level to middle management, upper management, the boards, it's still overwhelmingly white and male. The average white family has something like 20 or 200 times more. I really hope it's closer to 20 and 200 more wealth than the average black family. How do you think that happened? The playing field at no point in time has ever been level. And the notion that it is what hinders a lot of you when it comes to your assessment of race relations, of black people, or just non-whites in general. You believe, well, if I can do it, they can do it. And that's right up there with some of these goofballs I know from the hood. I got out the hood. How come you can get out the hood? And you conveniently ignore there are systems still in place to prevent this. A good friend of mine said something and it hit me like a ton of bricks. We have to remember there was not an end game for slavery. It was not supposed to end. That was not in the game plan. It was not like, well, we're gonna get this free labor for a minute and then we're gonna let them go because that's kind of wrong. It was never an end game in sight. We're supposed to still be in chains. So when you factor that in and you look at the head start white people in this country have had, it's laughable as it is sad when I hear folks in the southern states talk to Mexicans about go back home and you're an illegal immigrant. How did you get here?
We're all going back home unless you're Native American. We're all going.
Right? Like I'm you first. As always, you first. But that it is that belief, this belief that black people ain't further ahead because they just don't want to be. They ain't working hard enough.
It's not true.
Not true. Absolutely not true.
Just gave you many examples of when we were trying to get ahead and we were, and either it's the government or just regular citizens getting in the way. And then, like you said, now you kind of have the Ashy Negroes doing it too. So we have our own agents making sure we limit progress with all the division. Like I said, say what you want about Kevin Samuels. I don't have an opinion on, but he furthers the division. There's a lot of quote unquote black leaders now. I don't think we really have any black leaders right now, but black leaders right now that kind of further the division. There's no one focused goal. It's just division, division, division. Find a way to have self-hate or help hate the other sex of our same race. That's a big thing now.
Yeah.
So it's no real plan for us as a unit. And I guess the government and white people, whatever, did a great job of making sure that there's never going to be another black messiah. Not saying we should be looking for one, but I'm saying there's not a whole lot of unity that we used to have when it was crunch time.
Well, hold on, brother. Hold on, my brother. You got to remember, we did kind of get a black messiah. Barack Hussein Obama. Know what I mean? He came through. That was our means.
Well, didn't get reparations. Trayvon was killed on his watch, and many other black people were killed on his watch. Everyone that lived in the hood at that time probably still does. So I mean, hey, I guess, hey, Obamacare, that was the greatest thing ever. That's gone.
Yeah, Obamacare.
That was great.
I'm just, and as per usual, like I've always said it's a joke, it's not a joke. Nothing sells America like America. And it's like when you buy into that, your start point is, man, it's the greatest country on earth, but it is going to hinder you from understanding some of the things that are problematic. The answers lie right outside the borders. Our healthcare. The answer lies right to the north of us. Hello, Canada. Said it before. Got a homeboy with Toronto, said he ain't never coming back. You know what he does? He goes to the doctor's office. It don't matter what happens. He doesn't open his wallet. No referrals, no co-pays. The point is the healthcare system is not for profit. It is actually health care. So there's that. You look at how other nations police. They don't have these problems. The U.S. police force kills more people unarmed than any other country. So the problem is just America's very interesting entity that sells itself like nothing else does. And we have so many people that buy into this bullshit, hook, line, and sinker. The laughable and equally sad piece about Trump is to see all of these white folks identify and miss what was so painfully obvious. He for rich folk, particularly rich white folk, but for rich folk. So if you poor white folk, you really think he rocking with you? No. But sure did. But sure did. So I was like, okay, all right. Because, and I assure you, I was not one of those folk that was waving the Obama flag. Bill Maher had a very famous quote. Well, not very famous, but come I remember. He's your president, not your boyfriend. A lot of folks miss that. a lot of folks missed that. I was not waving the Obama flag. You can imagine how well that went over with a bunch of black folk I know. Oh well, I kind of like being on the island. It's usually tropical there. But circling back to where I started, the inherent issue with some white folk and people like the author of Dilbert is the belief that the playing field is even, and you want to use talking points to try to back that up, or further talking points to say, well, why didn't you do this? You can, like, I'm listening to his little, I didn't want to give his podcast a view, I didn't, but for the sake of trying to understand, like, maybe there's something in there. I watched a little bit of it, and it's like, it's just these recycled white talking points when you start having conversations about racism and inequity in this country, and it's old, and it's, quite frankly, it's lazy. You can't, you live in you don't understand history at all. You don't get how every other group that's been wronged by this country has gotten some form of reparations but black people. You don't understand you had a 400-year or however 100 many year head start. You just don't get that. It's just right now, affirmative action and black folk, black crime, and all of these bullshit talking points to avoid you looking at the truth.
Look, I wonder if he's an NFL fan. Just look. This is where this kills everything. I think you know where I'm going. There's a rule in NFL called the Rooney Rule. You know, to interview black coaches and give opportunities to spread diversity in the NFL. And yeah, there's a certain Kansas City. Well, he's not Kansas City, he made a lateral move. But what is his name? Yeah,
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy, right? Yeah, really qualified. Had probably the best quarterback in the game, and won 2 Super Bowls, been to 3, and all those AFC title games. You would think he's qualified to be a head coach. Nope,
Clearly not.
Can't. Because we're just moving the goalposts. And shout out to Shannon, because most of the time he's good. Sometimes he's on that Kool-Aid, but he's not full Stephen A. But for the most part, Shannon be on his stuff. Sometimes, especially but for the most part, especially on this topic, is like, yeah. So we've had this rule forever, and there's only how many black head coaches? 1? Is Mike Tomlin left?
Yeah, Tomlin's there. I don't know.
Either way, I know it's not a lot.
No.
And we're talking head coaches, not just talking coaches, because there's plenty of black coordinators and yada yada. We're talking about the head honchos. And yeah, we have this rule, quote unquote affirmative action, and it's not working.
So let's think about this. You just stepped on a good point, a point I just made a moment ago. Let's look at the NFL, all you football lovers. So the league itself is 70% black, right? Just as a general consensus, the league itself 70% black. How many black quarterbacks? Okay, let's narrow it down some more. How many black head coaches?
No.
Let's narrow it down some more. How many black owners?
None. Well, yes, none. Right.
So again, explain to me how we bootstrap theory. Explain to me how your fucking bootstrap theory works, right? Yeah. We literally just looked at one of the biggest companies, because make no mistake, it is a business.
It is a business.
When you and again, I've heard it and I understand people can't conceptualize it, but there's been many a player that liken the NFL combine to the auction block. How could you say such a thing? These men are making billions of blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Well, they're making money, yeah, but they can be, you pretty much, when you look at what we're talking about, the first guaranteed contract went to a quarterback, a position that they said black folks couldn't play. Um, contracts, but contracts are not guaranteed up until just recently. There's only what, two, maybe?
Just one.
When you look at the fact that there is nothing but pure white ownership, with the exception of Green Bay, of course, what you still have is the sacrifice of black bodies for white, by a primarily white audience and exclusively white ownership.
Yep.
Now, I will answer the question that some are going to ask ahead of time. Well, what if the NFL was run by black people? What if the NFL was all the NFL ownership was black folk? Then it's a different conversation still, because again, the larger conversation, the point that we didn't make to this moment, but we have made before, is football is not safe.
It shouldn't be happening because, like I
Right.
said, there's a story. I forgot. A friend told me that someone had to retire. I think he was played on defense because he was playing through so many injuries, and so they kept shooting him up with stuff for that. And now he has chronic pain when he can't run and jump anymore. He's forced to retire, and basically sends a tweet or a letter to everyone's like, yeah, good luck, everybody. It is probably not, I thought I knew the risk, but it is not worth what happened to me. I'm not able to run or jump anymore without really, really bad chronic pain based off the stuff they injected into my body to play through injuries and tough it out. So yeah, and we seen what happened with Tua, who should probably never play again.
Right.
Because
But he will.
and we seen what happened with Darvin Hamlin.
DeMar Hamlin.
DeMar Hamlin, yeah, almost literally died on. Well, actually, he did die on the field.
No, that was a freak accident. That was a freak accident.
But I mean, we seen with the Steelers. Was it Shabbat? He was almost paralyzed down. Shabbat, the linebacker that was with the Steelers a couple years ago. I forgot. He was forced to retire because I think he nearly broke his either spine or neck and was paralyzed. He can walk now, but it took a while. So this is a dangerous game. This is really the last gladiator sport outside of boxing and UFC.
And that's the biggest thing that's always been. It's not that, again, this goes back to the black versus white ownership thing. The white ownership part to me just makes it worse. But even with black ownership, the issue that I have with the NFL.
And Cap. Man, forgot about that part.
Oh, obviously Cap. That's
Like,
like,
that kind of proves
that as well. That as well.
It is.
The issue I have with the NFL and what most people said is, you market this as family fun and entertainment. The Super Bowl Sunday is damn near a national holiday.
It is.
Whereas MMA, boxing, combat sports, there is an inherent danger that everyone accepts, right?
They're fighting each other.
Right. There's an inherent, everyone accepts. With football, it's just fun.
It is.
It's just
Because you don't really see. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's kid boxing and stuff, but it's not as brutal because you protect it. Versus when you're adults, there's no really protection outside of a mouthpiece.
Yes,
So,
I mean, at least in boxing, you wear headgear until you're pro. You wear headgear in the Olympics, I do believe. You wear headgear until you're pro.
Yeah, I mean, it can still be dangerous, but yeah.
You still get punched in the
But
face, but
like I said, we play pee-wee football and it's full go. It's not like we're playing. I mean, there's flag football leagues, but for the most part, speaking for myself, you play real, you put the pads on, you really bang. You can really get hurt, which I did.
Them Oklahoma's,
That's
Oklahoma
real.
drills.
That's real.
That ain't,
That's not for kids. It's not. It shouldn't happen, but it does. And I understand they got new technology and concussions now, even though the NFL tried to hide that. And probably still paying for it. And they're going through a lawsuit with all the team doctors right now. But yeah. All the gear and all this and protected and safety and concussion protocol, it doesn't mean anything.
I gotta challenge that a little bit.
It helps, but if you really want a safe game, we're just going to have to play flag football.
Or just, you know what? Take it back to the old days. Play the leather helmets. It sounds weird, but you know how different it's gonna be. We got a leather helmet on instead of that pretty much that extra armor. But I mean,
I wouldn't do that. You might as well play rugby. We're doing that.
Yeah,
and that's brutal. People get hurt. I've heard people died in that.
Rugby is football with no pads.
Oh yeah, that's
really gonna see.
That's no.
You go
I stick to football. I play, soccer over here. So nah.
Oh, no, I was going was, I will say this, the NFL has changed the culture and it has changed the game. You know why? Go back and watch Ronnie Lott. Go back and watch Chuck Cecil. If you watch an NFL game from the 90s, it is going to blow your mind. Like, that's not a penalty? That's not oh my
In
God,
the
that's not a penalty.
80s and 70s. Oh, they was close.
I didn't go that far back. At that point, that was just
That's rugby.
that was just evil. That was just evil. But like, so they have effectively changed the game. It is a different game.
But it's not safe. It's still not safe. Like I said, if you still got scientists saying Tua should never play football ever again, and he's a quarterback,
Right.
He's the most protected person on the field at all times, and he still got his bell rung multiple times.
Twice.
Like you gang sign it. That's if you gang sign and you kind of passed out, that's not good.
They said this cat was in concussion protocol for a month after the season was over.
Yeah, the amount of like I said, I'll be shocked if he doesn't have CT.
Oh yeah. And then like the guy who made the movie Concussion, the doctor, he said he should never play football again. If the foremost leading authority says, fam, hang that up, you probably need to hang that up. I bet a kid that he don't hang that up though.
Nah, he's not.
Because
we're bred. Unfortunately, we're bred, especially black people and people in general that like sport. That you stuff it up. This is what you play. Like you said, you getting paid millions of dollars. That should suffice. That's a worthy sacrifice of your body.
Right.
But it's not.
It's not.
Because once you retire and you realize you can't do a goddamn thing, or you looking like AB right now, and he's probably got a record level of CTE, that's not good. That your life is not your life. Because your football life is very short.
Yeah.
Unless you're Tom Brady, you're lucky, which is mostly quarterbacks and maybe some offensive linemen, depending on where the cookie crumbles.
Mm-hmm.
But your football life lasts 5-7 years, maybe 10
on average,
if you're lucky.
On average, yeah.
So you sacrifice your life for that 5, 7, 10 years thing at max for a couple $1 million, and all of it, like you said, is not guaranteed unless you're a quarterback. And after you're done, you can't do anything normal again, or God forbid you do the Aaron Hernandez route, or I forgot, was it Junior Seau? Didn't he?
Yeah,
so you go that route, like. That's not your life is not worth millions of dollars.
And I get it because I watch football. Like let me be very clear. I love the game of football. And Howie Long said that we're a Hall of Famer, ex-Raider Howie Long said something, and it was profound and true. Football is the only sport where you got to go 100 miles an hour, 100% all the time. You can't take anything off. Basketball, there's a finesse element. Even boxing, there's a certain finesse element. There's strategy. Baseball, everything else, basketball, there's finesse element. There is no finesse in football. You go.
There you go.
And, if anyone's ever seen me play basketball, understand I would have been an amazing football player. I live for it. I love contact. Make no mistake about it. But I also understand at the end of that, you can be a shell of yourself. Some guys do walk away and they're okay. You see Jeff Saturday, you see Troy Aikman, you see all these guys in the booth. John Lynch, who was also a nasty hitter. Guys do walk away without being lumps of themselves, but you see a guy like Jim McMahon, quarterback of that 85 Bears team. Those sunglasses aren't for decoration anymore. He himself said he can't do bright light. Brett Favre, before we all knew he was a piece of shit, said himself, he's starting to have trouble with his short-term memory. He's a quarterback, running quarterback though, but he's a quarterback. And he had to play against Warren Sapp twice. That wasn't fun either. But, the more we see the wreckage of football, questions need to be asked. And like the big thing is, like I said, if we, acknowledge how dangerous this is, it might be different. But this is just family fun. It's good old clean football, and it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It never will be. As long as it's a collision sport, like I said, it's the equivalent of getting multiple car accidents. And I don't think anyone wants to get in one car accident. So imagine full-grown man, fast and strong as, like I said, you think high school and college players are big. Thinking about the NFL, they're full of all the biggest That's high school and college.
You know, we got 250-pound people running 4.5s now. Like,
And all that inertia is coming
Right,
full
right.
at you, and you just like, I don't care. Like I said, unless your suit is made out of vibranium or something
Yeah.
that can just straight up absorb all that, and your body to get untouched.
and
It's nothing.
I'll give Goodell and the boys credit for something. Let's be real. When we talk about performance enhancing drugs, the sport that coined the term is baseball. We don't talk about PEDs in football. And if we open that can, I think it might get real interesting because, you know, love them to death, but we really want to think that last season Ray Lewis was totally clean. How you look even more monstrous now than in your rookie year? How's that possible? But okay. So I'm like, yeah, you taking these guys 250 pounds, 4'4", 4'5", 40, and like 8 to 10% body fat. That's a lot of muscle, a lot of forward momentum. That's gonna hurt a lot. Ain't no nice way to do that. But again we got here talking about the racial dynamics in this country and how the NFL as a corporation is really reflective of a lot of things. So no, there is not equal opportunity. No, the playing field is not level. The NFL is 31 white owners. I gather 90% white coaches. I'll say 80%, maybe 75% white quarterbacks. But when we start talking about the position players, the skill players, the people who do the grunt work, well, there's your 70%. Another interesting fun fact. So this past Super Bowl, let's get this straight. The Shirley Ralph sung the Black National Anthem. There's a whole bunch of white folk with their pants in a bunch about that. But you all had no problem watching my majority Black players play this game. Interesting.
It's entertainment.
You had a shit fit about Cap and everybody else taking a knee, but you conveniently ignore the other verses of said national anthem. Interesting. Like, are you? And it just is, as a Black person that, you know, read a thing or two. It just begs the question: are you intentionally obtuse, or are you that painfully, woefully ignorant?
All right, both.
Like, did you just never? You thought, oh, say, can we see? That's the end of the song. That was the end of the song. That's all we got.
I mean, they did take it out. So.
In the home of the brave. That was the end of the song. You have no idea about the rest of it, huh? You don't see the irony, bitching and moaning about why they playing the Black National Anthem, and look at the players that are playing the game. You don't see the irony there, huh?
Makes sense.
But old boy talking about just getting as far away from them as you can. You know what?
We're gonna take everything that comes with it.
You know what? Besides the fact that we was far the hell away from you to begin with, right? That ain't get on. Just you're right.
That's not gonna solve that.
Get on. Because being around us and being this willfully obtuse is just what? Really? And I told you this. Growing up in my age, in my era, it was kind of a undercurrent, underlying thing that white is right and white folks are the most intelligent people there are. And unpacking that is like, because I just, how hard is it to Google? How hard is it to understand history before they start erasing things and burning books? You can't. I find it hard to believe this. Where I would love. I've always said I'd love to have a full-blown MAGA plan hood having person on this show as a guest, because I'm just trying to figure out how do you have the same access to knowledge that I do and come to that conclusion.
Because you're delusional. I mean, racism is a direct correlation to not a low IQ, not being very smart. So, and like I said, in school, we're not really told the truth. It makes America look good, which air quotes America means white America makes them look good. Like, we gloss over a lot of stuff. I know we learned about the Civil War and quote unquote slavery, but they don't tell all the details what really happened.
Oh,
So they're leaving out a lot of stuff.
you mean the one like Lincoln said, if I could have won the war without freeing a single slave, I'd have did it? You mean that little detail?
Like I said, we have quote unquote heroes, the people you put on stamps and all this. And most of them either racist, had slaves, or something that wasn't beneficial to us.
Most of my heroes don't appear on no stamp.
And I was thinking about
Shout out to
Puffy.
Chuck D. Shout out to Chuck D.
I was definitely thinking about Puffy.
Shout out to Chuck D.
But yeah, it's there. We're not being. This is where not being told the truth for everyone's sake, our sake, their sake. Because now, if you put everything on the table, now there's no excuse. You can't go to, well, I was taught this, yada yada yada. This backs up what I thought. Because you can technically do that. This is why he can say that. Because what he was taught was probably what he thought was right. And then, like you said, on many shows, if you live in your bubble and this is what you're taught, and you don't see anything else, that's of course that's what you're gonna believe. Whatever your perception is, that's gonna be your reality.
Right.
But if you broaden your perspective, then you'll see everything. A lot of people don't do that. We're either stubborn, hate, whatever, bitter, whatever. So I think this is why, the critical race theory and all that they're trying to pull. Nah, screw that. Tell the truth for everyone, including us. We need to know the truth too. There's a lot of people that look like us that don't know our history and that believe in this white supremacist bullshit.
Yeah.
Because this is what the little bubble or what little area they've seen and all the BS that you think comes with blackness, even though our blackness is what made everything here. But yeah, a lot of stuff has to change. People gotta pop their bubble. Government, schools, everything has to tell the truth. And that starts with the kids. Because the newer generations, I do agree, have instilled a lot of change and then also kept hold of the bullshit. Because whatever bubble you're in,
that's what you're
gonna do.
You're gonna breathe.
Exactly.
Whatever bubble you're in, that's your. And Trevor Noah has said something that was rather profound. Travel is the antidote to ignorance.
That's true.
And it goes back to what you said. Folks got to get out their bubble. That means get out your little town, get out your church, that little area that you exist in.
Explore.
You need to see what other bubbles are out there.
Explore.
And that means if you're an East Coast kid, you might want to go to the South. You might want to go to the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
If you are liberal, you might want to talk to some independents, talk to some Republicans. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of life out there that can give you, because travel isn't just physical.
No.
You may not have the money to go from Buffalo, New York to LA.
Right.
But mentally, you can pick up a book. You can YouTube, you can Google, you can research, you can do your genealogy, you can travel and never physically leave. Now, it's good if you can physically leave.
Right.
I'm happy about the fact that I've been able to leave this country and visit a couple other places and observe different cultures. But travel is the antidote to ignorance. And you got to travel beyond, well, this is what I was taught, this is what mama told me, this is what my dad told me, this is what my neighborhood think. You got to go beyond that, because I swear, and this is the thing we talked about many times, I'm sharp enough to understand the average white person ain't my problem, ain't my enemy. More often than not, that's my ally. I just need to get them to understand I don't hate you, and you probably shouldn't hate me. Because if you do, you probably buying into some bullshit propaganda. I ain't got no problem with you. If you in a trailer park, we got the same enemy, dog. But you gotta get folks to see that. And I shout out to politics, both sides, and media, both sides, for keeping this bullshit going. Because that's why I can't walk up to certain people and not be perceived as a threat. But we're gonna try to have a little bit of conversation here. Gonna circle this back because there's just certain things that's been agitated. Okay, the culture. All right, dear Black folk, I love y'all. I don't love everything we do. So I'm just gonna jump right in with both feet in the deep end. You feel free to, course correct me if you think I'm outside, but I typically don't pull things out my ass out of nowhere. First up, stop believing hip hop culture. Rap music has failed tremendously. And if it disappeared tomorrow, we'd all be better off. Because rap music, the stuff that's pushed out, requires almost a complete suspension of common sense to enjoy. Like, again, if we had to explain this to aliens tomorrow, do explain how we have just, you and I have just talked about how drugs and guns were dumped into our neighborhoods. Laws were created to imprison us. And here we are in our mainstream music. They took glorifying said behavior. It makes no sense. How do we justify consistently referring to each other and our women in derogatory terms? And miss me with that whole, well, ain't the word, you took the power from, shut up. You didn't. We all plot twists. We all know what the N-word really means, the connotation it carries. Stop it. Langston Hughes slapped the hell out of most of y'all if he were still alive. Here, and it's just no. So I've always said we need a Black think tank. We need to define what Black excellence is. And rule number one for Black excellence is if it does the work of white supremacy, it cannot by default be Black excellence. And by that measure, largely, rap music is not Black excellence. It is Black talent, for sure. Because if you ever thought it didn't take talent to rap well, just play an instrumental and try to rap to it and see how much you suck. No, not most people do. But
Most people still do.
damn.
Around. But I'm sorry, are you going? Still going?
No, I'm just saying, like, we need to revamp it. If it does the work of white supremacy, it cannot by default be Black excellence. And sadly, by and large, most rap is not Black excellence. Black talent, yes. Black excellence, no.
Who controls hip hop?
That's a very good question. Who does?
Do you think it's us?
We're the creators. We are the creators.
I didn't ask.
We are the creatives.
I didn't ask who created. I said who controls.
By default, the creator does.
That's not true.
If I don't make the product, you don't have the product to push out.
How do I explain this? Okay, we created something.
Because I think I see where you're going.
Yeah, but
Who controls? You saying what? Who controls what gets put out?
who controls what gets put out? All the stuff when hip hop first burst onto the scene.
Mhm.
Who controls what gets out? Yeah, you created on the bridge, right? And y'all just talking, and then it turned into a phenomenon.
Mhm.
Who controls what gets put out and what that? That wasn't us.
Now,
Now-
keep in mind, Def Jam is a Black-owned company. Russell Simmons, that goes back to the 80s.
Right?
But beyond that,
Majority is, yeah. And then you can make a case that, they're in line with white supremacy too. Just because it's Black owned doesn't mean it's, like you said, not all folk or kinfolk. So
Touche.
if you're promoting this shit and you're one of us, you're not moving, like I said, that's not Black action. You're basically one of them. So I'm going to group you with them.
touche.
So like I asked, maybe now we don't have much of an excuse because of YouTube and streaming. So you can, like, independent artistry is real.
Mhm.
Now people still try to cling to these 360 deals and these big labels, which aren't owned by us. And if it is, it's usually owned by, the streets. And you see how all these street companies are getting locked up like that and not promoting quote unquote Black excellence either. So it's like the people that control our music and our quote unquote culture isn't us. So if it was all us, then I would agree with you. But since we don't control all of it and make it quote unquote profitable, there you go. So
No,
go
I was gonna say, nobody made Snoop, Go Right, Bitches Ain't Shit but Hoes and Tricks.
Nope. But if you had, there's something that we talk about, when like companies do something or have a slogan, do something, it's like, oh, there wasn't a black person in that room. So how many people, when one of us release something stupid or something that's very damaging to our image and our wealth, and that's not black excellence, I guess a white manager or like Jerry Heller or whatever, whoever you want to think about, CEO, whatever, they listen to us like, these are rocks, and you're damaging yourself. Cool, let's put it out. Versus you had some smart rappers like a Miss Lauryn Hill, whatever, they don't get pushed. Because there's plenty of rappers that rap about black excellence, and most people don't know about it because they're not being pushed.
Mhm.
That doesn't fall for the agenda. They do not want us to hear this. They don't
I
want it to be
think-
mainstream.
I think to a certain, I'm sorry, I'll
No.
make my point. I think you give them a little too much credit. I don't buy into the note. You know what? I could be wrong. I don't necessarily buy into the notion of there's this agenda. I will say this: it is being cognizant of who your audience is, and here's what I mean. As a creative myself, I am concerned about my art. Right? My first concern is my art. How's it going to be received? Is it good? So on and so forth. When you go from the creative conversation to the money conversation with the money people, they're not concerned about the integrity of the art per se. It's now commodified. Can I sell this?
And you
What does my audience want? And who has largely been the audience for rap consumption?
white people.
Right.
And sorry, Goodyear. And that proves my point. Some not shit. Black trauma is very economically, profitable.
Mm.
And that's what white people want to hear. They from the burbs want to be from the hood. They want to sell crack. They want to get shot. They want to have all the women, blah, 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 do yada, yada, yada. But that's all black trauma. That's not what we are in our core.
Mhm.
And if you are, then yeah, you a special individual. But other than that, no, they want to hear black trauma.
Right.
That's why I said certain movies and stuff. I'm like I said, I get the slave movies. No, I'm tired of seeing that.
Yeah,
That's not our history, but that's not our only history with slaves and stupid shit. We've done so much great things that
Mhm.
don't get pushed.
I'm still looking at Lena Waithe funny for Queen and Slim. Like seriously,
I get it. Like I get you going to say educational, but bro, we have so much fucking data on the trauma part. We don't need it anymore.
right? Queen and Slim. That's way too close to actually being real right now.
That's why, like I said, you just look outside.
Huh?
We need to push, like you said. I agree, push black excellence, but I don't think the powers within want to push that.
Well,
And if your majority of your crowd is, if you're trying to push you as white people, because I don't think black artists are necessarily trying to push to our people for the most part, because I think that's not where the money is for the most part. Because most people now, especially talking these young motherfuckers, and it's like you want to listen to the bullshit. But if I say listen to this Black Thought, it's like, oh, what is this? Oh, it's boring. So I'm like,
I don't know. Offer a little bit of challenge there
Go ahead.
because I don't think they're taking into account these artists. I don't think they're taking into account. I'm saying this because I know Johnny in the suburbs is gonna dig it. Remember, they're talking to the streets. They talking to day inwards. It just so happens that that is profitable.
yeah,
But
but
I don't think the thing is I'm gonna say these words. I'm gonna put these rhymes down because I know white suburbia gonna eat it up.
no, they're probably not the I agree. But I think whoever is disputing it, distributing it, I can't talk. Distributing it, I can't. You know what that's it.
Yeah.
And the A&Rs, all that, that's pushing through radios, blah blah blah. They're looking at the dollar signs, which would be white people, and they would know what they want to hear.
Mhm.
And black trauma is usually what they want to hear.
Right.
They want to hear about a life that they've never lived and never will live.
Mhm.
It's a fantasy. It's almost like sports. Like I said, we root for teams and all that shit because most of them can't do it.
Right.
So they fantasize through y'all. They live the dream through y'all. That's why they watch. It's entertainment.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, a lot of the entertainment I freaking think about that's very profitable is built on Black drama
Black bodies.
and Black pain and bodies. We're the ones sacrificing for your entertainment.
Mhm.
And those are the most profitable ones: music, sports. Am I missing anything? You can, I guess you could say
where
acting.
that's where you're at. Sports and entertainment is our wheelhouse. And for years, you go back to the Harlem Renaissance. In this country, pop culture and Black culture have melded. You want to know what's cool? You see what the Blacks are doing. That's been a constant, right? So we got to we got to make a better narrative. And it's like, when we talk about the culture, can we please let go of this thug bullshit?
Yes.
Listen, I love John Morant, but Shannon Sharp had a point. There is no glory in being a hood. That's called making the best of a bad situation. I honestly think when you get past a certain point in your life or a certain age, you don't need to utter the phrase, you know where I come from, you know where I'm from, because it almost speaks for itself. Because I never heard nobody who came from means say that. I never heard somebody who grew up with some M's, you know where I come from. No, they just quietly judge your ass, which may not necessarily be better.
No.
But, John Morant, for those who don't know, John Morant, all-world point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies, had a little issue. One of his homeboys has now been banned from Memphis Arena. They got into it with the Indiana Pacers, and he on Twitter tweeting some shit. And I'm like, it was said it was a red sight, a red beam flashing to the bus. They don't know what that was, laser pointer or laser scope. The fact that we have to contemplate this, sir, you about to be worth a good 200 mil.
Yep.
A good 200. I'm probably selling it short.
And that can be gone just from that
And
dumb
you
situation.
want to hang around and be this fake thug, bruh. I hate to sound like the old head, but it's like, it's true. Cats 40 and up. We grew up in the hood trying to get out. So when somebody was like that and made it out, sports or whatever stuff pop off, you protect them. Because that's how everybody eating. These cats now was reckless. They had no compunction about, oh, damn, he got kicked out of the league. Yo, that's fucked up. Let it go. As a Black man in his 40s who grew up a certain way, I get how you were in certain situations and the game faces on. I can tell you firsthand, I'm tired. I like being in situations where it's non-confrontational, where I can be around brothers and give a hug, and we can talk about family, and we can talk about building, and the conversation ain't laced with N-words. And also, and this might be not necessarily a Black thing, but a man thing, a man culture thing. Everything ain't about women and money, dog. How's your mental health? What you create? You hit the gym, and that's, I don't know how it is for you and your age, but it's just too many conversations that men, they define themselves by how much money they got, the woman they got, or the women they bang. And that is so
That's just patriarchy.
typical and empty.
It's just that more of the money thing is easy because that's just what the world is, especially this country. That's the capitalist way of thing. So of course, and then the correlation between money would be women.
But there's more to men.
There's more
There's
to
more
life.
to us.
There's more to life.
Because remember, we to provide, like, you gotta make money. And there's so many brothers who attach themselves to how much their job, what's in their bank account.
That's everybody. So I mean,
because the problem becomes, maybe it's not a problem for most, right? I get it. The issue becomes when you deal with someone like me who is not impressed by your shit. Now what?
that's not you.
Let's have a real conversation about what we're gonna do about the community, what we're gonna do to heal ourselves. I don't give a shit about your BMW. That's some European bullshit. You overpaid for it.
Hey, well, everyone else does. This is what we're bred.
Like, get out your man box. Like, you are not just this. Brothers, you are not just this. It's not all aggression and anger, and I make money and I get chicks. What is it all worth? Who are you? And truth be told, now I lean heavier on the brothers with it. Truth be told, women got a little bit to do with that too. But
A lot, but as
but at the end of the day, we are commanders of our own selves. So
true.
if the problem is what women want, what do you want, dog? Because is your life lived for the sole purpose of female and woman approval?
Probably.
I would think you want to define who you are for yourself.
You should, but that's not what happens. Like I said, it was probably programmed at birth what you should do and what you should want. I mean, that is a system thing. So that's what you want. They're, the female parts are programmed that they need this, that, and the third. This is what they want. This is the dream. This is how you have a quote unquote successful and meaningful life. And there's set and blueprint for men to have a successful and grateful life. But now, especially in 2023, there's many ways to do that. And you don't have to live by what the standard is to being successful and then having a fulfilling, happy life. There's a lot of people doing their own things, not afraid to be themselves. Like I said, the one thing I do respect about the LGBTQ, ABCDEHE, is that they're not afraid to be themselves now. A lot of different cultures, a lot of different people I see since when I was younger to now is, like I said, there's more people being themselves. Even with the relationship things is on the top between men and whatever.
Mhm.
Like I said, you see a lot more poly. You see a lot more, king friendly stuff. Like you see a lot. I've been exposed to more as an adult about people being more of themselves and comfortable in their own skin now versus when I was a kid, where it was kind of basic to what everyone was. Even if you can tell that wasn't what they were, but they had to fit into it to fit, quote unquote, fit in.
Mhm.
Now a lot of people don't really care. Well, most people do care about fitting in, but there's still a small section that's getting bigger by it seems like the day of people who don't really care and do what makes them happy, and then find someone who agrees with them that makes them happy. That's the beauty of having a big world that's a lot smaller now with the internet and all
Mhm.
that. So you can, like you said, you can find people of your own niche where you can be yourself.
Right.
And you don't have to put on the front. You don't have to think that you need this, that, and the third, like you said, the materialistic stuff, the women, blah, blah, blah. You can just be you.
Because I think one of the greatest gifts, and depending on where I'm at, one of the greatest curses is me being a creative. I identify as a creative first. I see the world through the lens of a creative. And that means I can see what is and I can see what ain't. I can see, like, hey, this is what we got, but this is what we could have. And that's a beautiful thing. But it's also frustrating as hell because, especially with other men, it's so rooted in material. It's money, how much money you got, how many degrees you got, none of it. And I'm not knocking that, but that's not life, man. That's not what we've been put here to do, to go to school, get a degree, and work and make a million, billion, gazillion dollars. That's not life. And I just wish I could come across more brothers to have those kind of conversations with. I am still unlearning a lot of the bullshit that is put into me. For my own self-assessment, I am still way too aggressive just beneath the surface. And I'm working hard to just unlearn that. And I'm noticing, like, if I'm around certain environments and around certain brothers, like, I'm automatically on guard. Bro, it's been that way since I was like, my age been in double digits. That gets tiresome. And I really wish I'd come across more brothers who decide to step out of the quote unquote man box and be more than just what we've been socialized to be. And like I said, when we having conversations about the culture, like, stop worrying about, I think this goes on both sides. Stop worrying about what make other people happy. Well, one, I got an issue with celebrity worship in general. But we just saw, the Rihanna A$AP Rocky cover that had a lot of people up in arms. I'm like, all I saw was a brother holding his baby and supporting his lady. But he's in a submissive position and he doesn't hit it. Your start point, we're going to talk about the culture. Your start point should be, Black men and women need each other. Not even on some relationship type deal, but in general, we need each other. You know what's more depressing than seeing these cops come in neighborhoods and brutalizing us? When I see two of them and I see 22 people surrounding them with cameras out. Black men and women need each other, be it familial, be it intimately, what have you. But when we decide to, unite a little bit and take control of our own resources as much as we possibly can, beautiful things happen. But we don't seem to do that a whole lot. And this is beyond what I see media portray. This is looking at my circle. I do know great brothers and sisters doing great work in the community. That's not always highlighted. I'm sure that might be by design. But we have got to be better towards one another. And again, if it ain't Black excellence, if it does the work of white supremacy, if you standing idly by and you ain't doing nothing, that's really doing the work of white supremacy by default. That's not Black excellence. And culturally speaking, we need to support each other. I ain't saying, let me be real. I ain't saying you got to like it, but if it don't go against who you are, support. I'm amazed how many, I don't know how you do, I don't know how it is on your end. It's amazing to me how little grace we give each other. Somebody say they open a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, you get a dish, it don't taste good, I ain't never come back here. Like you ain't never went to McDonald's after they screwed up your order. Like we give each other no grace. But we quick to get these white folks and white brands all this cachet. Like some people see the Gucci belt, the Gucci loafers, and the $1,000 shades. Oh, that's what's up. I think you just overspent on some bullshit. And I'm willing to bet money somebody that looks like you that could have used the support. But Gucci.
It's not name brand, man. But that's how I feel about a lot of name brands. Even if I'm not a fashion person, I'm a wrong person, but I got you. But that's the capitalistic, superficial, things that we need.
Agreed.
Show off to everybody else, to show status, yada yada. The elitism. And
That's the word.
yeah, this is why people worship celebrities. This is why you like I said, you want the biggest stuff. You want all these things. And then a lot of people realize when it's crunch time and tragedy strikes, that none of that matters.
And a celebrity, the part that gets me, and I hope someone takes something away from this. A celebrity ain't nothing but somebody that has got more recognition for their talent than you have.
If it's even talent. That's not that make it
Well, yeah.
But this you have more recognition and for the most part, more money than a normal person. You're quote unquote in an elite class.
Well,
that's cool, but that's why I don't get why people seem surprised when celebrities do normal human shit. Because they're not gods. Of course there's flaws. Of course they do the same shit you did. They were born the same way you were born. They're gonna die the same way you die. There's nothing different.
Right.
That's why I don't worship anything or any celebrity or whatever. Or the ones that I quote unquote would are all dead. Recipes of them. So it's like, and it's not really because I think they're gods, just they did a lot. And the people I worship don't even see themselves as gods. They see themselves as people and for the people. And that's the people you can get behind because I don't see them as a god, I see them as a great leader. And there's a difference between a celebrity and a great leader.
Right.
A lot of these people look at these celebrities like they're great leaders, and then when they do stupid or say stupid shit, you like, oh, how would you do that? Why would they say that? Like,
I mean, and this is purely a me thing. I do believe there is an inherent responsibility for being Black and famous or Black and influential in this country. Now, I understand there may be a good many people who don't believe that. I don't want to buy nothing. I understand that. First, I think that's part of the problem. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand how you get to a certain status or have a certain platform, a certain reach, and don't feel obligated to make the world around just a little better place. Musicians might be, no, I can't even say they're an exception to the rule. Because again, your art is your art. You make what you feel in your heart.
Mhm.
But you can most certainly make something that speaks about unity. Or hey, maybe that ain't what's spot you in, but can you make something that doesn't tear down?
That's true.
This a thought, like, because the conversation really can easily expand beyond rap. Let's be real, mainstream R&B ain't no hell of a lot better lately. Like, SZA is extremely talented,
But
and for most brothers, extremely fun to look at.
what?
But when your first single is The Weekend, and you literally have written yet another ode to cheating, I don't like. SZA didn't redeem herself for me until she got with Kendrick, and All the Stars is one of my favorite songs ever. Like, All the Stars was good, but I'm like, I get, yo, it's real. That's the beauty of being a creative. You can make whatever you want. And we are still in a all hands on deck situation in the Black community. Why, oh, why do we need to let the bullshit rise? Why, oh, why do we need another I'm breaking up a family anthem? Now, if you like to sing about or whatever you'd like to do with your parts with whoever, that is totally cool. But to knowingly, you know, I got them on the weekend. I plenty of single brothers out here that, and it's just, and I just, for example, and I'm like, oh, just music. No, it's not. It's
No,
not.
no.
It's
It's
not.
never just music.
It's never.
Because music, like I said, words are very powerful. And I think I don't know a single person that hates music. You like some type of genre that you listen to. Unless you're, deaf, but sorry, yeah. But other than that, like, yeah, music is very powerful. It moves a lot of things. It makes you feel it in your soul. It can have you feel every emotion. And like I said, your brain, processes a lot of things, and music is scientifically proven to make you feel different things. So if you're feeling different things, that means you will do different things and all that stuff. So yeah, it can have a very positive and negative effect.
Right.
And unfortunately, I guess what you're trying to say is that our music, hip hop culture, which will I guess include R&B and rap, is been very negative towards us. And I agree for mainstream. My always argument was not get rid of it, it's just push the people who need to be pushed and let the garbage be what the garbage be. But it's flipped. Like I said, now, like I said, tires no skill. I thought you had to be mad nice. You can be trash as long as you look good and have ice. That's all you need. But
Bars.
that's not childish royalties.
Bars.
I say a lot of his quotes. But yeah, there's a lot of things that can change, at least on the music tip. Was that all you had for That's Not Black Ass, it's just music for us? Or was there anything else?
I mean, just a mentality. When we talk about the culture, we need to talk about like, this one's touchy, but it's there. I'll say this because it's gonna be real easy to categorize it as, oh, we don't care about what men think. I'll say this, sisters, natural bodies are perfectly okay. I'm not knocking. If you decide to enhance, if you decide to get surgery, that's your prerogative. But that's just a lot of chemicals. And just know the risks involved. But sisters, your natural bodies, your natural hair, all the way up to 4C, whatever, your natural self is perfectly okay. Not even I'm a man who loves women. Nope. I try to avoid needles and knives and surgery at all times. I will not elect to have someone cutting on me. So to that end, I just because what it is, I saw it's this thing, and I hope it didn't pick up much steam, but natural bodies is for broke chicks. I'm like, what? No, natural bodies is what you born with.
And then you gotta know the history too, the Sarah Bartmans and all that. Because everyone's trying to look like that back in the day, but we all know that was made fun of. She was treated like an animal, a
Right.
zoo creature,
Literally put in a cage like a zoo
Yeah.
creature.
and they had to do horrible things too. So as property. So now, like you said, Kardashians as example, that probably helped glamorize, and then of course the sisters that we have with
Wings us, looking for the culture vulture. I'm sorry.
and that,
For the culture vulture.
and most of unfortunately, the female MCs now are mostly plastic. No fault, well, it is fault,
Yeah,
for them,
it's-
but
that's-
it's just like we're pushing that, and then like I said, I've seen because women are their own enemy when it comes to that too. Because I don't think it's just a men thing. I think it's pressure from other women who are probably hating. Is that I've seen, like I said, there was a picture of some actress or somebody say, oh, pointing out all the flaws. It's like, oh, this is what surgery you need to fix that, and the third. What are we fixing? Like I said, unless you've been in a horrible accident or have disfigurement or something, that's the only time, me personally, I think you should have cosmetic surgeries. Unless there's something really wrong. But other than that,
No.
you're doing it because it's a self-esteem issue. And
Possible.
that can be solved with a lot of other things that won't require you to be under surgery, under the knife. Or if you can't afford the good ones and you have to go and risk your life in whatever third world country and then probably die, it's not worth it.
And I'm just saying, and again, I'm not some dude telling women no. I'm just saying, just as a reminder, whatever you were born with is perfectly okay. If you decide you want to go into the knife, I hope it is because you made the most sound decision and it's not because of a deficit. On the flip, same thing with brothers. All the Gucci belts and expensive clothes in the world ain't gonna hide your shitty character.
No. But
One of the things I know, like some brothers is having a real hard time with women independence, meaning once upon a time, all you had to do was get money. In fact, it's been drilled into us people my age. What they say, don't chase the bitches, chase money, because bitches chase the money. Goofy shit like that, right? Now we at a point where sisters got their own money, dog. They don't need yours. So now what you got? Gucci belt ain't impressive when you can buy your own. So brothers, spend some time getting to know who you are, apart from who society has told you what to be as a black man. And it's just a real simple thing. If a sister, whoever you come across, think you too broke for them, then move on to somebody that digs who dig you for you are.
it would be smart, and vice versa. But
I mean, that's the part that's killer about this conversation. Most of the answers are sitting right there. Or just for whatever reason, we have a hard time adapting to them. Stop the gender wars. I'm not reaching across the aisle. I'm not reaching across the aisle saying, well, women need to do this. Well, I don't do the whataboutism. I'm like, here, I'm a black man. This is a black man. We have conversations about what we can do to be better, to be our best selves. And the beautiful part about that is it is not contingent upon what sisters think, per se. I know this much. When I'm the best version of myself, I can weed out what I don't want and entertain what I do. And if I present myself to a sister and she don't like that, cool. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for playing the few. And we move along. But we're not gonna sit here and do the well, sisters need to they'll get to it. Let them handle it. like I'm gonna let you handle it. I don't know.
That's why I don't pay attention to the gender wars, the
Right,
relationship advice with the roles that people should be playing. This is real easy. Depending on what you're looking for. If you are looking for a woman that's supervision, if you are looking for a man that gets money, can take care of you, there is someone out there for you.
Don't do that.
This is why there is no blueprint. This is why I have issues with some of the people, the Kevin saying blah blah blah. That there's one blueprint that you should be in this shit. No, we're all humans. There's 7 billion of us. We're all the same, but we're all different. Some people want and desire different things. So whatever you desire, whatever you want, like you said, look in with yourself, what makes you happy and what you're looking for in a partner. If you are looking for a partner or partners, It's easy now to do it.
Find what some
It's
find somebody that's
easy.
about what you about.
Which exactly, you can find someone who wants to be in your boat. It's not hard. You don't, like I said, you might have been limited when I was younger and when you was younger, definitely. You might have been limited to your neighborhood or your state, maybe your country. But now you can go global. You don't even have to be here.
You can be a passport, bro. I'm sorry.
Well, don't do that. Don't do that. That's something different.
Woo!
You could be that if you want, though. I ain't. Hey,
Cornball ass dudes, yo.
I don't have a problem with that. It's just stop dissing people on your way out.
Right,
If you did that in silence, no one would care. I would. Hey, that's on you. I respect it. It's your money, your time. As long as they consent to, I don't care.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, there's something for everybody. See what you want
Mhm.
in life and yourself and the other person or persons or wherever, and find it and do it and stick to it. Don't let nobody tell you you need to live this way, this, that, and third. No, whatever makes you happy and whatever you're looking for, you can find it in 2023 somewhere. It might not be in your bubble that you live. It might be somewhere else.
Mhm.
Be patient. Don't settle, and find it.
No, stop, like I said,
It's easy.
stop the gender war. Stop sitting here, both sides. Stop sitting here telling brothers what you need to do. Tell sisters what they be the best version of yourself and check your homeboys. I promise you, things go a lot better. If you, because come on, man, we all know it's something I've seen a sister say, and I was like, damn, she got a point. Somehow, we all have come in contact or only have 2 degrees separation of a woman that's gotten beat. But don't no dudes know anybody that beats on women. How's that even possible? That is numerically impossible. Numerically impossible. I know way too many women who have stories of DV. I cannot tell you outside of one instance that I know the perpetrator of such. So it's like, as men, as people, when you see some fuck shit, you got to start holding folks accountable. I am happy to say that the men in my circle are stand-up people from what I know. You know, I ain't with 24/7, but these are folks that take care of their family, take care of their community, and are fine examples to me of Black excellence, right? I don't agree with every, I don't always agree, but that's the point. The objective is not to always agree. It's just, are you doing something that is helping or hurting Black people, Blackness, Black culture? Are you Black excellence? And I know a lot of them, thankfully. But I'm like, that's where it ends. I'm not saying, do I see a lot of stuff sisters do and raise an eyebrow? Like, sure. But I'm not them. And I understand I will never walk in the shoes of a Black woman. But what I can do is speak to the experience of what it is to be Black and male in this country. And I can call out some fuck shit that other Black men do if necessary. And I think we need to keep that on our side of the fence. Because telling women what they need to do to be more desirable, obedient, ain't my problem. I'm gonna be the best me I can be. And we're gonna roll from there. So brothers, please hold other brothers accountable and stop this goofy shit being relationship experts. Talk to brothers. Talk to your brothers. Because like I said, I know way too many women that's been DV and SA issues. And you know what those letters stand for. So I'm like, talk to brothers. Because these women ain't getting hit on by nobody. Talk to brothers. And if we take care of what's on our side of the fence, you'd be surprised how much better things would be. Because the baseline is, dear Black woman, I need you. Dear Black man, you are my brother, you are my ally. When that is your baseline, it changes things. And that's something I work on myself. Like I said, in my own self-observe, I got way too much aggression towards brothers.
Oh, really?
That has just been a constant thing to work on. But I love when I'm in situations when I'm surrounded by nothing but Black folk and it's all love. Actually, let me expand that. I love when I'm in any situation surrounded by people and it's nothing but love. Like, I think it's cool when I'm in rooms and there's everybody there. And it's a melting pot you know, Indian, Asian, white folk, and it's everybody there. And it's all love. Because that, I think, is the ultimate human experience. But we got so many damn dividers between us, man. And that's like, ugh. I'm sorry, I went a little off topic. I know we still be talking about the culture, but ultimately, we all are culture. When we get past the racial bullshit, it's all of us. You know what I mean? So, granted, the culture is Black folks, but we are still one world. We are all still world citizens. And I hope we get to that level of understanding. I don't know, man. What else you got?
That's all I got.
Well, here's the first of many more shows that we will be doing side by side, man. Absolutely love doing it. The energy is a little bit different when we're here as opposed to a time zone away. You know what I mean? We will plan to make, get a backdrop of some posters and fireworks next time. But just having fun. Love doing this thing, man. Appreciate all the love, all the likes, every single follower, every single comment, good, bad, or indifferent, keeps us on our toes. Big things in 2023 for the Say It folks. Gotta say, public, I love you, man. Love doing this thing. Anything you got? On behalf of the I Said It podcast. Till next time. Peace.
Yeah. Well.